Hey, howdy, 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 meeps. Rigaroga here, and there's a cat trying to get through. Kitty, stop that. Jiminy Christmas. Hi. How's it going? Hey, Zool. How you doing? Do you pronounce it Zool? It gives me sort of a Ghostbusters vibe. Anyhow, welcome to this morning's episode 3 of the Stranger Things set from Dungeons and Dragons. So this is the hunt for the Thessalhydra. In the last adventure, the party had, in the nick of time as they were going through the cursed labyrinth, at the last possible minute, they managed to find the lost knight. Had been attacked by troglodytes and waves of skeletons, and it was to the point where they were gonna just find a dead end in order to camp out for the night and do a long rest because they were really worse for wear. But then all of a sudden, as they were rounding the corner, the last few corners they needed to find, to try and find this dead end, they ran into the lost knight, solved the riddles that he put up, and ended up in the lost knight's room, and had a long rest and talked to the lost knight about sort of the next phase of the adventure, which turns out to be the Upside Down. So here's the thing that I think what we talked about last time. I don't remember how much the conversation the party had with the Lost Knight, but the Lost Knight, I kind of see the Lost Knight as the sort of the Grail Knight from Indiana Jones, with the sort of the hero light, the glowy hero light from above. The long twisty beard, the guy who's like way older than he looks, but he looks like he should crumble into dust. But he's relatively hospitable. And they talk about the next phase because they've Rash, come here, up. Come on. Rush. Up. No? You don't want to come up? Come on. Up. There you go. Hi. It's Rush. Rush. Hi. Hi, little Rush. Okay. You can sit down in my lap. But be nice. Stop making all that noise. Rush is being a little crazy tonight. Or this morning. And so I guess where was I? So the knight sort of is hospitable, lets them sack out in this room, and basically says, you got to get your rest now because once you transition into the next thing, it's gonna be tough going. Healing doesn't. Resting doesn't really work very well. It's not restful at all. And the knight talks about how the cursed labyrinth itself, part of why, remember when we did an Arcana check and we couldn't discover what magic was going on? Well, the thing is, the cursed labyrinth isn't even in the normal world, right? It's kind of like this demi-plane, sort of halfway. So it's interesting. There may be other exits to other places. I wonder if there are other pathways. Anyhow, that's not something that's covered, but that makes me wonder. So, if the cursed labyrinth only goes from the prime material to the Upside Down, one or the other. Anyhow, so the thing that the Lost Knight knows and talking to the characters kind of are like, well, okay, so we got to rest because we're gonna come up against the Thessalhydra, and then the Lost Knight is like, oh, well, the Thessalhydra uses this cursed labyrinth to push its way through to a place called the Upside Down, and the Lost Knight shows how to get into the Upside Down, but that it's a one-way passage, and you'll have to find the different way home. And I think that's where I left the last adventure. So I think after the long rest, everybody's doing their sort of preparing for battle thing, tightening all of their belts, and getting their equipment all set up, ready to go, and they're gonna say their last goodbyes. Now, here's the thing. I think that the bard is gonna try to steal the silver cat. So let's do that. Let's see what we've got. Now, I'm trying to remember if I've got any stats for the Lost Knight. There are no stats for the Lost Knight, so I'm not gonna do a opposed check. I think I'll just do a sleight of hand at +4. Okay, so let's do this sleight of hand. Let's see what we get. Let's do a sleight of hand at +4, and see what we get. So as they're saying their goodbyes, the bard sort of backs up to the table, table where the things are, and tries to grab. So that's a 15 plus a 4, so that's 19. So slightly less than heroic levels. I think there's no way that he doesn't manage to do that. So he sort of pockets the silver cat. And then I think what they do is they use this method. It doesn't really talk about the method of pushing into the Upside Down. I think there's just another door, maybe on the other side of this, on the other side of this room, that is like a normal door, but then if you twist the knob. No, but the Thessalhydra has to make it. So yeah, I'm not sure what the method is. We'll just sort of imagine that the Lost Knight sort of describes the way to walk down the regular tunnels of this cursed labyrinth in such a way as to go through, instead of how it randomly goes left or right or T squares. It just sort of as they're walking along, it sort of dims down, sort of a pinhole camera kind of wipe, and then comes back out, and in the camera then we start to see this sort of featureless nothing that they're walking through, and then slowly in the distance they start to see sort of almost like white hazy lines, and then they start to come into focus, and those lines then turn into trees, and it becomes and as they step through it actually kind of like like the darkness recedes out, and where they were coming from is no longer there, but then the trees are all around them in like a weird way. Like, how the heck did that happen? I think especially the people in the back. Let's go ahead and sort of get our marching order. Let's see if I remember correctly. So paladin, bard, wizard, cleric, ranger in the back, and that's our marching order. And so so it's all black. So it's a normal corridor, and then it dims down to all black, and they can just barely see themselves. And then the trees sort of start to show up on this edge, and then all of a sudden the trees are all around them, like so the darkness just sort of recedes back. And I think now that they're in the upside down, it's like these are not regular trees; these are echoes of trees. This is like, there's the Platonic ideal, like the Platonic ideal object, where like every chair participates in the Platonic ideal of a chair. Like this is the opposite of that. This is where, like, this is the Platonic shadow, if you will, where everything participates in a shadow version of itself that is not the ideal version of it. It's like, so these trees, they look like trees, but they're not. They're shadows. They're husks. And I think, looking at this, it looks kind of, washed out. It looks a little bit like noir filter. But I think there's also like a vignette, so that, no matter where you look, it looks like your eyesight is kind of dimming at the edges. Like you're slightly losing your sight, like almost glaucoma or something like that. And I think that, in this environment, there's kind of that dust, the motes of dust flowing all around, and that kind of like, so you see the dust, and I think it smells like, I can't remember if they describe this in the show, but I imagine right now that it smells like, like an attic that hasn't been opened for like a decade, or that hasn't been fully aired out or cleaned. It's just like, it's got that. It's not just dust, but it's like old human flesh, which is what dust is, right? It's like the flakes of human flesh mostly, but it's got that sort of cloying, thick. It smells like it's thick, It smells like you should be able to touch it, but it's not a pleasant smell. It's kind of sour. It's kind of flop sweat. It's kind of stingy, and I think at least one of the party has allergies or something, right? Probably Will the Wise or somebody has some sort of allergies, and it's just like, causing an itchiness to their eyes. And I think that, like, the sound of this place is, I mean, you've watched the show, right? But so I think it's kind of like, you know when you get water in your ear and it's kind of muffled and it feels like there's stuff in your ear. I think that's kind of what this is. It's like it's like closed in, even though you can see out. It's everything is sort of vibrating close to you, like the eyesight is crunched up and the ears are stopped up, and the eyes and the nose itch, and it's hard to breathe, and it's also cold. It's really cold here. Like everything. Like I think some of the characters, I think they have magic items that they're used to having. Feel like maybe they don't even notice it, but they know that there's power in it, and it's like the environment sort of saps that out. Like this is it's cold that seeps into your bones without being like completely winter, but it's cold. It's like it's like that kind of weather in the spring when you can't wear enough and you can't wear too little, and you just can't get comfortable because it's just slightly too cold no matter what. And I think it's it's night. It's dark. There's never a sun really here. Like, I mean, if you imagine like sort of a platonic ideal realm, it's probably sunny. You know, it's probably like Tahiti, not the Tahiti of Agents of Shield, but sort of like 72 degrees all the time. You know, warm, plenty of food, a nice warm beach to lay on. You know, that's a platonic ideal for humans, and this is not. This is definitely not. Um, I'm trying to decide if I think the camera pans down, right? So the camera pans down um, along the you know, as the trees sort of show up, the camera pans from the trees showing up behind, and follows along with the rest of the, you know, the party, sort of in that long shot, long tracking shot. Um, and I think maybe um, oh, I'm trying to decide now. So okay, I'm gonna roll a die, and we're just gonna see. Um, we're gonna see what happens. We're gonna see what happens. I don't know which one's gonna happen. Okay, 16. Okay, so I think when we get to the bard, um, I don't know how we see it or know it, but we know that there's something going on with the silver cat, that's in his pocket, um, that's in their pocket, and I don't know how we know it, but somehow we know, like maybe it's like whatever pouch it's in or whatever, it like starts to, you know, it's kind of doing that sort of foreshadowing where it's loose, and the top of the pouch is loose, and it's shaking around, and it looks like it's gonna fall, but then all of a sudden at the last minute it falls into the bag. So it's, you know, safe, and it's good. Um, and it's not gonna, like, we think it's gonna fall out, but it doesn't, right? Um, and I think the camera pans, uh, then from the bard, to the paladin, and we see the longsword. And there's something about this that's almost like, I think it's almost like tilt shift, right? So the camera's looking at this sword, and as it pans in, it's kind of like this tilt shift where everything else gets weird, as far as like, you know, this the parallax and the separation changes a little bit, and the focus is on the sword, and so the sword is like everything else looks not real, but the sword looks real. You know, even the players don't look real. Like, they look more real, but not, like, there's something about this sword that is way more real than everything else around it. So there's something about this sword as it entered into the upside down that has caused it to change, or to reveal something about itself. Like, it's more itself than it ever has been before, or that they've known it to be. Um, so I think the characters are just sort of walking along. I don't think they know what to do here. So I think what they're going to do is they're going to, as they're walking along, I think the decision is they're just going to try and look for the Thessalhydra tracks, right? I'm not even gonna have them roll. I think they find Thessalhydra tracks everywhere, but the thing is, um, there's like other tracks mixed up, all, you know, there's tracks going everywhere all around them, and they're going every way, and there's no clear direction. Like, you know, they'll go one way and then they'll go another way, and they don't look newer or older. It's just, they just sometimes they even like they cross in and then they loop and they go back on themselves, and it just makes no sense at all. So tracking is really not apparently going to help. But I think that they're trying. Like every time they see, okay, I don't know what that track is, but that's the Thessalhydra. Okay, so which way does it go? And maybe they follow it for a while, and they go around a tree and come back right to, they loop like like the game Snake. They end up looping back on themselves as they're going through the forest, and they're like, I don't even know what to do. So I think they keep doing this, and this goes on for a while, and it's dark, it's lonely, this forest is desolate. I think they maybe see like a hunting shelter or something like that in these woods, but it's the shadow version of the hunting shelter. Like maybe as they were coming up to the troglodyte caverns, they saw this sort of in the distance, and it was sort of an abandoned hunting shelter, and they see that this is also here, but it's not itself. It's like the shadow version of itself. And so they get this idea, definitely, that this is the shadow of the material plane, that this is an opposite, less than ideal version of it. And they keep going. I think they just keep trying, listening to hear if they hear anything. And eventually, I think after quite a while of this, I mean, we're just going to do like a montage. I think all of a sudden, there's a clear sort of peal of thunder and lightning that just sort of crashes around them. Actually, in the show, you see that in the Upside Down, like in the distance behind, that usually reveals like stuff on the horizon, like it's behind all the trees, so you get the creepy branches of the trees lit up from behind. And I think what on the horizon of one of the hills that's around, the party sees, I think, their passive perception. It's going to be obvious. I don't even think they need to roll for it, but they see, like, sort of standing silhouetted, is sort of a female, sort of, I don't know how much they would tell, but sort of commanding figure, like not hunched over, not not ready to fight or anything, but just sort of standing there looking at them. Strong and proud kind of stance. And I think that when they see that, they sort of pause for a second. There doesn't seem to be any hostility. Hey, stop scratching that. One of the cats is scratching. I have stuff moved because I'm moving for the construction and stuff that's going on, and one of the cats was over there scratching some of the furniture that I have stacked. Anyhow, so yeah, from one of the pouches we hear the silver cat statuette scratching something inside there. And I think that this character instantly knows that this party is not one of the creatures of this Upside Down, and ends up joining the party. Maybe they try and shout, hello, hail, well met, that sort of stuff, but the wind and the dust and stuff makes it really hard to communicate, so they just sort of end up approaching. I think that, they introduce each other. As she comes up, it's a princess. And I mean, she's this is the proud princess. And I think as she sort of approaches, what? Oh, you found a top? You found a top to the milk? Yeah? Yeah? You want me to throw it for you? Hold on. She has the one of the tops to a milk jug. You ready? You want this? You ready? Ready? Oh, I threw it under the thing. Okay, hold on. Let me rescue it for you. Hold on. Sorry, that wasn't fair. That wasn't good. Here we go. Ready? Oh, now I ruined the game. Now I ruined the game. I ruined the game by getting it stuck up behind a counter thing. You went up? No, you're gonna stay down. Okay, whatever. Resh. Okay, so what are you doing? Gosh, she's making all sorts of noise today. She's really she was sitting on my lap earlier doing that sort of annoyed tail whap thing, and now she's like, what is going on? What is going on with you? What? Come on, up. No? Up. You want up? Up? Yeah, okay. There you go. So I think the party just has this conversation like, who are you and what are you doing? And, she's the proud princess. They don't give her a name. It seems weird if she would call herself that, but I mean, we'll go with it. There's, I think, this is obviously the proud princess, and the party recognizes that that's sort of like this title. I think and the princess asks about the party, and the proud princess is like explaining, I've got a quest that I'm on, and hey, we've got a quest too, and we're trying to find the Thessalhydra. Do you know anything about that? Oh, that's not my quest, but my quest is something that I don't think you all should be involved in. I'll take care of that. You clearly have your quest. You need to take care of that. I need you to stay out of the way of my quest for your safety. But if you'll take care of the Thessalhydra, that would actually help me and everyone else. So, I think that's great. What I know about the Thessalhydra is that it uses the upside down as a way of moving from its layer into the prime material plane, and the way it does that is that there's a special plant, a special kind of almost, well, you call it a flower, but it's not really a flower, and it performs a ritual with its own blood because it's a monstrosity that causes the that flower, which grows on both the upside down and the prime material. It causes a portal to open up between the two, and the proud princess explains like that's how it goes, how the ritual works. Explains that, and she points them to the cavern where the flowers grow, which is, I'm sure, probably its lair, where the Thessalhydra is at. And so if you go from the upside down to the layer, then you'll be able to get there. The thing about the ritual is that it requires the blood of a monstrosity. And the Thessalhydra can do it with its own blood, but without that blood, you're out of luck. You're not going to be able to do it. But there is a creature that has been stalking around the upside down, and that's the Demogorgon. And so this creature, she explains, is it's attracted to the smell of blood, so you can bait it. The easiest way to get its attention would be to spill blood on the ground. There really aren't any creatures around, so you could cut your palm and or do something like that in order to attract that, or you could just try to track it. But that Demogorgon is a monstrosity, so if you can get enough of its blood to trigger the ritual, then you can get outside of you can get outside of the upside down, back to the inside of the prime material, inside the upside down, outside the and so I think that's what she does. She explains, like, I'm on my quest. I've got my own thing to do, but that's how you do it. That's the ritual. You need the Demogorgon blood, and the flowers are in that direction. So I think that the party then, I think at the end she just, the party is not level appropriate for the Proud Princess. So I think the Proud Princess goes, that's the best I can do for you. I've got to go. Stay out of my way. It's not safe for you to follow me. So go do your thing. And then she's out of here. And I think that I think the characters, a couple of the characters, like especially the Paladin, are like, no, wait, but she's gone. I mean, while one or two characters are trying to like wait, the rest of them are going, oh man, so we got to get this Demogorgon. Should we track it? What do we do? I think the Ranger definitely wants to try and track it. The Paladin is like, actually, how about we've got the Ranger. So Wisdom, Survival. It's got a couple +3s. I've got the Ranger and the Wizard are actually pretty high up on survival. Those guys are actually the best at it. So I think the Wizard and the Ranger are going to try and sort of isolate down. It's interesting because, I mean, we've already established that the tracks are wild. So I think while the party is sort of making their way to the flowers, the direction that they've been pointed, that these two characters are going to try and help each other doing a nature survival check. So let's go ahead and do that. So it's going to be a +3 with advantage because one of the other characters is helping. And so we'll just sort of take this as read. So that was an 18. So 18 plus the 3, so 21. So that is a heroic level of tracking. I think they definitely start to see tracks. So I think the question now is, Yeah, I think they found so all of these tracks are like going everywhere, but they managed to find like sort of most of the way there. They find fresh tracks, and so they're like, you know, sort of that military hold, stop, and then look here, and I think they all sort of instinctively the two that we're tracking they hunch down, and then the rest of them are sort of looking around to make sure they don't get ambushed or whatever, but they have definitely found new tracks. And so I think what they're going to do is they're going to try and do stealth. So who is stealthy? So the bard, I think we're gonna do sort of a party based stealth check. So let's do the first two. So the first two, the ranger and the wizard. So that's a 19 and a 12, and they're both +2. So that's 15. Okay. So that passes. It's we're going to do passive perception of 13. So let's try this. So we're going to do a 4 and a 3. A 19 and an 18. Wow. Okay, so that's also heroic levels. So we've got 3 characters that have done heroic levels of stealth. And the last stealth is a 0, is 4. So I think... Who is this? This is the paladin. The paladin is just abysmal at this stealth. But I think we've got enough heroic level. Like, there was a success and 3 heroic levels of stealth from the party. So I think, the paladin is just abysmal at this, and like almost stumbles. But like the bard behind the paladin grabs the branch that the paladin ran into before it snaps back, and makes more noise, and they just manage to sneak up behind, they come around a corner, and then ka-da-dum, they see the Demogorgon. And this is the figure that comes with... This is one of the 2 figures that comes with the set. This is the painted Demogorgon. And so I think they see this sort of adult human-sized figure, maybe from the back, and it's, snuffling around, and then maybe it, it turns its head, and it's, it's got that sort of orchid bulb way of looking, and then as they're looking, it kind of like it opens up the fronds of its face to sort of look around, as it's maybe that's how it smells, how it senses things, is it kind of like a snake tongue. It opens up in order to sort of sense. It closes up when it's being stealthy to get through things, but then it opens up when it's trying to sense and figure out where things are at, and then also attack, of course. And it seems to be by itself. I think maybe it's sort of sitting there, and it kind of seems to be doing something like with its arm, and I think as the camera pans down, we see that it has some sort of wound on it. It was clearly fighting something, or it fell, or it ran into something, and as the camera watches, the the wound that it has right now just sort of heals up and goes back to pristine, whatever that means for a Demogorgon. So the party, like, it heals itself. It's not, it does more. We got to watch that. So let's roll initiative because now we're in it, right? So I think that, so let's go ahead. We'll get the Demogorgon. So I've got my sheets from Arcane Library, my little ones. So we'll do our initiative. So let's see how we do. Okay, so let's do the first two. Ooh, a 20 and a 15. Okay, so Demogorgon at 15. So let's do Bard and Wizard. 14 and a 8. And then the last two. 17 and a 16. So actually, these guys both go before the Demogorgon. Okay, so we've got Paladin, Cleric, Ranger, Demogorgon, Bard, and then the Wizard in our attack order. So the Paladin is up first. It is not a fiend or undead, but I think what we're going to do, I think he's just going to leap in with the longsword, Winter's Dark Bite. And I think that the first time, like we foreshadowed this, but I think the first time that he grabs it, this special sword and pulls it out, it's like, I don't want to say it's like humming or shaking or something, but I mean, the sword is home. Like somehow we know, like he looks at it, like there's something about this. It feels right, that it's in the right place, as he's running in. So he's going to go ahead and run in, and attack, with the longsword. So it's going to be, +5 plus another, +4. Plus another 4. Chin. What? What's up? Hi. Did you want to come up here? Do you want to come up and say hi? You want to say hi? Come on. Do you want to say hi? Come here. Oh, come here. Oh, I can't get you. Oh, you're hunched down. Zoop. Oh, there we go. This is Jin. This is Jin. Hi, Jin. Jin is like, why are you talking like that? Okay. All right. You can go. Okay, so it's +4. So that's +9 total. Okay, so let's roll. So let's see. It's and then 2d6. And then we're gonna do Divine Smite. And that's going to be 2d8. So let's add 2d8 to that. Okay. So let's see what we get. Oh, God. So that's a 9. Oh, man. Wow, it still hits. I mean, that is... I mean, it's still a lot. So we get +9. So that's 18. That does manage to hit. That's insane. And somehow, okay, we're going to have to keep track because this guy heals a lot. So let's grab some extra dice. Wow, these are all D6s. Where are my other dice? What did I do with my other dice? Oh, well. Okay, so... Okay. Okay, we'll go with that for right now, and if I need more, we can always add more later. But we're going to use this to sort of track his hit points, because it's going to go up and down because he can heal. So we've got... So it definitely hits, and then we do 18 damage. So right off the bat, we're going to do 18. Is that going to show up on the screen? Okay, good. So we've got 18 damage. And I think... So that's going to be the paladin. So let's go... So the cleric back here, I think... Yeah, so what is he going to do? So we have a spiritual weapon. I think we probably want to get that going. So let's take a look really quickly at spiritual weapon. Chin Chin. Chin Chin. So spiritual weapon is a bonus action. Range 60 feet. 1 minute. Create a floating spectral weapon within range that lasts for the duration of the... Jin! Jin! Stop! Jin! Jin! Jin Jin! Jin Jin! Oh my god. Jin, hold on a second. Jin! Stop it. Come on. Come here. Come here, come here, come here. Oh god. Okay. She totally ran away from me. Okay, so let's do a spiritual weapon. Let's use... Shall we use... well, let's use... Can we see that? Can you see that? No. Let's use this. Let's use orange as a spiritual weapon. So I think that... Oh, you're back. Hi. Hi. Why are you making all that noise? Here, do you want to chase the... Do you want to chase the milk cream? Do you want to chase this? No? Okay. All right. Well, we tried. So the cat... Now Jin is going to be making noise. Bonus action, you can move the weapon up to 20 feet. Melee spell attack against a creature within 5 feet of the weapon. On a hit, target takes force damage equal to 1d8 plus the spellcasting modifier. Where are you? There you are. Spellcasting modifier, so 2. Okay, so let's do that. So what is this? We don't know what deity this cleric worships, do we? That's never been said. So what form does this take? I don't know. I don't know what form this takes. I mean, maybe it's like, I mean, is it the sword from He-Man or something like that? I mean, it's something 80s, super 80s. Um, I mean, let's go with that. It's going to be the sword from He-Man. So the sword from He-Man shows up, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to make a melee attack, um, a melee spell attack against the creature. So we're going to roll, and then it's 1d8 plus 2. So the melee spell is going to be plus 2. Oh, wait. Actually, spiritual weapon is right there. So, oh, it's actually plus 4. How does it get to be 4? Because it's proficiency, so it's plus 4. That's why. Okay, so plus 4. Let's see what we do. So that's a 6 plus 4 is 10. That is not a successful hit, so that does not work. But we have a spiritual weapon on the board, and it lasts for a minute. And then I think for the regular action, the cleric is going to use light crossbow. So that's going to be 1d8 piercing. So plus 5. Jen, why do the cats always make noise when I'm recording? I mean, they make noise anyway, so I guess it's not. Jen. Stop it. Ugh. Okay, plus 5. Is 10. Oh man, that's crap. That is not enough to hit. So both of those fail. So the cleric is done. Let's go ahead and go to the next one. So the ranger is next up. And I think we'll definitely do archery. Actually, hold on. I think we're doing... It's bonus action to cast Hunter's Mark. Creature you see within range, mark it as your query. Until spawns, you deal an extra 1d6 to the target. And you have advantage on perception and survival to find it. Yeah, so we're definitely going to do Hunter's Mark on it. I don't know how to say that it's got Hunter's Mark on it. I mean, there we go. We'll do the critical roll thing. So 1d6. So we're going to do an extra 1d6. So we got longbow, plus 6, 1d8, and then plus 1d6. So let's see how we do. And it's a plus 6. 9 plus 6 is 15, and that is just enough. That is just enough to hit it. So we are going to do 8 plus 2, so 10 total piercing damage. So we're going to do another 10. Wow, that's got a lot of hit points. It is, I mean, it's hurt, but it is not hurt. Oh gosh. So I think that is all we're going to do. Now, it turns out to be now the Demogorgon's turn. So I think the Demogorgon is going to turn, and obviously it's going to attack the Paladin. Let's see. Well, I think first off, it's going to heal 10 points. It's going to regenerate 10 points. And then it's going to multi-attack against the Paladin. So it's going to do a bite and a bite. Oh, a bite and 2 claws. Oh, jeez. Okay, so we're going to roll a bite and 2 claws. So the bite is a fail, and the 2 claws are a fail. The Paladin has like 20 AC. Yeah. So all of those fail, which is awesome. And that means that's the end of the Demogorgon's turn. Wow. Okay, that was sweet. So now we're gonna go. The Bard is up. Not the Wizard, the Bard. Okay, so the Bard. Vicious Mockery is a full action, isn't it? I'm pretty sure. One action, yeah. 1d4 psychic damage and have disadvantage on the next attack or roll it makes. No, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna use a regular attack because it's only 1d4 and disadvantage. So the Bard is gonna step up over here. No, not a rogue, so no sneak attack. But we're gonna try that. We're gonna do 1d8. So we're gonna attack and then +4 with a 1d8 for damage. So 17, that definitely hits, and then we do 7, 8, 9. So we do another 9. Hey, Shifty Corpse. How you doing? Thanks for the follow. That's really awesome. Thank you. So we're going to do another 10 damage. So that's good. So now we're back up to where he was before he healed. So that's good. And now we are at the Wizard. Now one of the things I didn't do is I didn't regen the wand. So let's really quickly roll that. So we got 6 charges of magic missile. Wow. Wow. I don't know Flaming Sphere. Let's take a look at Flaming Sphere really quick. Is an action and concentration 5-foot diameter sphere of fire in an unoccupied space. Any creature that ends its turn within 5 feet of the sphere must make a dexterity saving throw. Do I want to do that? That doesn't seem like a really good use of my time. $2d6 is good, but it has to end its turn within 5 feet of it, so it would move out of the way. So yeah, I think we're gonna use the charges of this magic wand, this wand of magic missiles. I mean, let's just go ahead and do it. So 3 plus that's so 1 charge and then 5 other charges. I think it's just like gonna Roman candle against this guy. So I mean it's automatic. It's force damage, so it's not gonna require that we roll to attack. So let's just go ahead and do. So we'll do the first 3. So oh wow. So that's 11. And then so 11 plus 1. So 14. So that's 14. And then we've got another 3. So that's 5, 6. Plus 3. And then 1 more. And we'll expend all the charges. 4 plus 1 is 5. So we'll do... well, let's not use that one. Okay, I need more. Hey, Shifty. So the points are the Streamlabs extension. So if you're watching on via your browser, it'll automatically start accumulating, and then every once in a while, sort of randomly, a chest might appear on the screen, and if you click it, then you'll get like bonus points, and that'll just start to accumulate as you watch. And so totally free. And then when you get like 100, is it 100? Then you can cast a boon, and if you get 1,000, then you can cast a curse. And I've never done this before, so it's totally, when we get there, when you decide to do it, we'll just figure it out, and we'll make it happen, and we'll start messing with stuff. Okay, so let's see. So I had 5 more points. Jen, stop. Shush. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. And that is the wizard. Now we're back to the paladin again. Okay, awesome. Anyhow, it's something really cool, kind of a fun way to do it. Make the stream interactive, and it's free to watch. And then also, I think that those points also accumulate if you watch past streams. So try it out and let me know if that's true. But I think that you can go back and watch the previous broadcasts and still accumulate points. So that might be worth it. So let's see. We're going to go ahead and paladin with that long sword. So it's +9, and then it's going to be... I think we're going to use our other divine smite. So that's 2d8 and 2d6, and then to hit. So let's see what we do. Let's see how it goes. Okay, that 18, well, +9 is like, that's super heroic. It's not a critical hit, but it is a heroic level of damage. 11, 12, 13, 14 plus 3 is 17. So that's another 17 damage. Boy, I need to start doing... Well, okay, we're gonna grab a bunch of extra dice then, I guess. So that's 6, 7, and 2, 4, 6, 8. Oh, what? Wow, I think we killed it. I think we managed to kill it already. How is that even possible, right? Two, 4, 6, 8. Yeah. Oh, we slaughtered it. It's done. Hot dang. Wow. Okay. It got shredded on that last attack. Fully. It was looking bad. And the paladin sort of, with this Winter's Dark Bite, does a big roundhouse kind of two-handed swing on it and just shreds the Demigorgon. So the Demigorgon is down. That surprised me. I thought that would take a lot longer. The extra damage from that divine smite certainly helped. And then also discharging the entire wand of magic missiles was nothing to laugh at. So I think at this point they're going to collect blood from the Demigorgon. Basically, I think they've got their the vials from the healing potions that they had. So they'll fill up one of those with Demigorgon blood, as it basically wilts like a desiccated flower. It just into the ground, and then they're gonna trek their way onto the to the cave that the Proud Princess had sort of pointed out to them. And when they arrive, it's sort of the shadowy version of the what's clearly a lair of some kind, and tracks of the Thessalhydra are clearly going in and out of this opening, both in shadow and in the upside down. And right here, right outside the lair, there's some dried blood that on some of the flowers, so clearly they've been used. Scabs of dried monstrosity blood all over the flowers, and following the ritual that the Proud Princess gave them, they're gonna use the Demigorgon, some of the as much of the Demigorgon blood as they can. I think maybe. I think maybe the paladin and the magic user are going to be up front. We'll say that this is the flower, so they're going to be up front, right at the flower. Hey, chill out. It's okay. Be nice to each other. And so they're going to pour it on now. So when they get to this flower, it's basically, these flowers look like Thessalhydra heads, if I remember from the show, and when they pour blood or splatter blood on on the flower, it bursts open like a seed pod. So I'm gonna do some dexterity checks for the paladin and the magic user. So where is my magic user? Or wizard, I mean. They're not magic users anymore. So let's see, dexterity +2 +0. Okay, so let's roll and see what happens. 4 and a 15, so 15 succeeds. So the wizard manages, is pouring and manages to, knows that something is going to happen. But the paladin standing there is just knocked on his butt, just flat prone. And I think, everybody else, of course, with, not trying to be cruel or anything, but it's funny, so they have to laugh. And I think that the paladin sort of picks himself up and sort of brushes off the dust and is like, oh man, how embarrassing. But as as the camera sort of leaves that bit of sort of slapstick and pans over to a portal that's right there in the face of the flower. Which is a gateway that steps cross planes into the prime material. So they're able to now pass through this portal into the lair of the Thessalhydra. And that's going to be it for today. That's episode 3. So episode 4 is going to be the lair of the Thessalhydra. And so we'll see if they can manage to survive the big bad, and then what happens after that. Thanks for watching, and Zool, if you're still watching, thanks, and Shifty, thanks for hanging out, and accumulate the points, and watch some of the previous episodes. I'm gonna start up a mini marathon right after this. My Sunday mini marathon of all of the tabletop role-playing games that are still on Twitch. Everything is archived over on YouTube, so you can always go there. But if you stick around and watch the mini marathon, which will start up as soon as I get it queued up, then you'll be able to accumulate some points, and you can mess with the game next time, next weekend. And it should be not on Sunday, but Saturday in the morning is when I'll play. Anyhow, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.